You are listening to the East Forsyth Sports Network, powered by TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com. Welcome into a new edition of The Nest here with East Forsyth Basketball, the voice of the Eagles, Desmond Johnson in the house here with you, with the head coach of the East Forsyth men's basketball team, Joe Coulter. And Joe, we wanted to wait till after the holidays before we started this. Of course, this version of The Nest basketball season is brought to you by the fine folks over at Game On Brew Pub over in Kernersville, 727 East Mountain Street in Kernersville. Go over there and check them out. Joe Campbell and the folks. Great food, daily specials on food and beverages and whatnot. The best arcade selection you're going to find, probably about 20, 30 miles. They got all these TVs for sports stuff, and this is definitely the week to go over there and watch the college football playoffs or Panthers taking on Rams or whatever it might be. So go over there and check out Joe and the folks at Game On Brew Pub. Coach, what's up, man? How you doing? I know you guys just finished practice.
Doing great. How are you?
It's busy.
Right back at school.
Yeah, but school is back, so all the high school stuff is back. The Panthers somehow made the playoffs, so I'm working a little bit extra for that. And then college football playoffs, everything's just going on at the same time. And so I took off like a little over 2 weeks during Christmas, but did see you and the boys out at Reagan for the Frank Spencer Holiday Classic. And you guys were in the Atrium Health bracket, got all the way to the championship round against a currently undefeated West Forsyth team and gave them a lot throughout the course of that matchup. Talk to me a little bit about the Frank Spencer experience with you guys and your guys getting all the way to the championship round.
Yeah, we started the season a little slow. We had a great preseason, had a great summer, but we played some good teams early on, and we really wanted to use the Frank to get us going for the conference tournament. For the conference season, and we played really well. We made it to the championship game. Not only did we make it to the game, but we played really tough. I was very proud of my team on the way they played all three games and the improvement that they showed from the early games that we played.
Yeah, I thought, and I did the semifinals and the finals, and I thought they played really well against Reagan, who had upset Mount Tabor in the first round. And that I actually called that game for Mount Tabor for Truth Network for radio, that first round game. And that was crazy. Mount Tabor led that game the entire time. Reagan basically got a rebound off of a free throw at the 5 seconds left in the game. They come down court. The kid trips. His brother picks up the ball, shoots a three, hits it, walk off. Reagan advances to face you guys. And then you guys took care of business 2 days later with a 64-53 win. I didn't realize that West Forsyth was undefeated, but watching them play the day before, I was like, that's a really good team. They're very long, very athletic, and they're very deep, and they're very young. They have a couple of freshmen that are really, really good that we had talked about on the court before the game began. How do you think that East withstood that pressure? Because I had mentioned to you before, you changed your starting lineup from what I'd seen previously the first couple of weeks during the non-conference play, and then you changed it coming out of the half. And the guys that you came out with, am I saying his name right? Noni?
Yep, Noni Jones.
Noni Jones, Dominic Shaboy, that's my guy, AJ Wesley, Jaden Ingram, and Akari Brabham, who I've begun to really like his game. And I felt like it gave you some size that you didn't have earlier in the season coming out with, especially that front line, because that front line with Jones, Shaboy, and Ingram, you're talking, 6'4", 6'6", 6'5", 6'7", something like that. So, which is rare in high school basketball to have that kind of size. And just from calling East games the past couple of years, we haven't really had that kind of size. Talk to me about having a little bit of leeway with your roster in terms of being able to mix and match. And is that particular lineup a lineup you're looking to start going forward with, or is there something else you're kind of tinkering with to change that a little bit?
Yeah, we've gone with some different lineups since the season began. We had some football players come in who weren't with us during the preseason. Jaden Ingram was one. He's 6'6". He hounds the rim. He gets blocked shots and rebounds, and it just took him a little bit of time to get his basketball legs and feet going. And we knew West. They had some big kids inside, and we wanted to match our big kids with theirs. And I felt like our big kids would give us an advantage, and I think they did. I think they definitely did. We felt like going that big lineup into a zone that we went to really gave us some length, maybe disrupted some of their shots. And it also slowed them down too. West Forsyth plays for 32 minutes straight. There's no stopping them, and we stress that to our kids. And we told them you can't play 20, you can't play 25. You got to match their 32 minutes. And for the most part, I thought we did. We had some laps there in the second quarter when Dom got in foul trouble. We had to sit him. I didn't want to, but I felt like it was the best thing to do. And we were still only down by 2 at half. So we felt like we were in striking distance, and going with that big lineup, we felt good about, and it kept us close, I thought.
Yeah, and then West just kind of pulled away there at the very, very end. But I was actually very proud watching. I was like, I think Coulter might have stumbled on something in this game in terms of the rotation and the lineups and stuff, because I really felt like West was bothered by that front line. Like, they were really bothered by it, and it kind of took them out of their game a little bit. It felt like they decided to start trying to shoot over it, which worked for them in the previous game where they were red hot from three, but they weren't against you guys. The length really bothered them. And again, I mentioned the guards in that combo. AJ Wesley feels like he has come on the past like 2 or 3 weeks from when I saw him like opening week to his confidence level feels like it's at a different level right now. Talk a little bit about what's going on with AJ, because it felt like he really asserted himself in the Frank Spencer and might be a really key cog for you going forward.
Yeah, AJ has completely come out of his shell and has proven to be one of the best guards in the area. I thought he was one of the top 2 players in that tournament all 3 days.
I agree. Yeah, because he just something about him. He was like, it's almost like he was trying to dunk on people. Like, he was like getting to the cup. Like, he was really being shooting threes, playing defense. He was doing everything you wanted to do in that spot. And I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know he had that in him.
Yeah, we've seen it all summer. We've seen it in the fall. His step is really, really quick. His stats are unreal right now. I mean, the kid is, he's 5'8". He's averaging 13 a game, 4 rebounds a game, 4 assists a game, 3 steals a game. I mean, that's tough for him. I mean, he's really, really playing well. And if he keeps playing at the level he is right now, I think good things will happen.
Joe Coulter on the nest with us here, head basketball coach over at East Forsyth, and his screen just froze. I'm not sure if he's still with us or not. I know he's over at East, and I know the Wi-Fi over there is crazy sometimes. So let's see if we get him back on. He actually, what might have happened? He might have got a phone call. But East 5-5 on the season right now. They take on Southwest Guilford tomorrow at Southwest Guilford at the Ranch, 7:30 p.m. Tip for the boys there. There we go. We got him back. 7:30 tip off for the boys. 6 o'clock for the girls. Another player that stood out to me, and my wife Jennifer, who started doing scorebook with me, so she's been able to watch the guys as well. Akari Bravum, who's new to the program. I didn't know if he transferred in or if he was on JV last year or whatever it might have been, but because I know his sister plays on the girls team.
Yes,
and he seems to me like he's like a raw piece of clay. Like you can see the potential, but you can also see maybe sometimes he's thinking like he's trying to figure things out, like he's trying to grow into his body sort of. Yeah. But you could also see like sometimes you just see kids and they can do things that other kids can't do. Like it's just natural to them. And he seems like a natural athlete. He kind of reminds me of Scottie Pippen a little bit in terms of the way his mannerisms are. Like he's not stiff, but he's upright, and like everything he does has like a sort of purpose to it, sort of. Mm-hmm. And he kind of plays the same way. Talk to me a little about him and his addition to this team, because we didn't have him last year, and it feels like he's kind of a plug and play kind of. You can just put him in any rotation, and he's going to be able to fit.
Yeah, we were so lucky for him to come to East. He was at Winston-Salem Christian last year. Didn't know anything about him. I was just told today that his parents came to several of our games last year, and I didn't know.
Really?
That they were kind of looking around to go elsewhere. And, lucky for us, they decided for him to come, to play for us. He is a special player. I thought he was a great replacement for Murray from last year for us. The way he played this summer, the way he gets up and down the floor and attacks the basket, it really was a good fit with Murray graduating. He's averaging 9 points a game for us. He's had some big games. He's played, I think, 14, 13 in a couple games, and he's a junior. So that's even better. AJ, Akari, and Joe, they all come back next year. So that's great. Yeah, our 3 starting guards all come back, and Jaden also, Ingram. So, yes, he's a great kid. He's a super nice kid. He's in the National Honor Society, has wonderful grades and just a really good person.
So we got a chance to see a little bit of the CPC in the Frank Spencer. You guys took on Reagan. You lost to West in a hard fought battle. Your thoughts on that? Because that was the first time I assume that you got a chance to see those teams as well. Here in you've played a pretty tough non-conference schedule. I see, Walkertown's on here, Northern Guilford, Southwest Guilford's always pretty good when it comes to men's basketball. You've played Walkertown twice now, and they've built a program over there as well. But the last two games you've played were against CPC foes, Reagan and West Forsyth. Who are you looking at in the CPC that's going to be, well, obviously West Forsyth is like 11-0 right now, and they're kind of churning. Who else besides West are you kind of looking at as competition at the top of the CPC as you guys compete?
Everybody. Anybody can be anybody any given night. Obviously, West is right now is the top dog in the conference, and I think we're all going to be chasing them. I think we need to come ready to play every single night, from Reynolds to Reagan, Northwest, it doesn't matter. I think everybody, Parkland, everybody can play on any given night. And, that's my job, is to get our kids ready for whoever it might be. But I think right now we got to go through the first round of the conference, and then we'll kind of see who's where and kind of go from there.
And that will it won't start yet. You still got a couple more non-conference games. You got again tomorrow night. We won't have that game because it's on the road. It's at the Ranch out in High Point, at Southwest Guilford at 7:30. You're at Parkland at 7:30 p.m., which is a CPC game.
Yes.
So it is going to count as a conference game. Okay, so your first conference game will be at Parkland on the 9th, and then you've got at Piedmont Classical. Is that a Saturday game?
Yeah, that's Saturday. That's it's a Battle of the State tournament, all-day tournament. So we're matched up with them. We played them at 7:00 at Andrews on Saturday. So we have, we got a couple games, and then tomorrow night's a big game. Southwest is very good.
Yeah, they're usually very good in basketball. So that'll be a good measuring stick game there. And then
they're 9-2 right now. So we played them here, and we were up 23-9, 21-9, and let them slowly get back in the game. So we're looking to go over there and hopefully play well.
Yeah, and that was an early game too. I'd imagine rotation wise and getting kids totally up to speed and stuff. Yeah, so now you can really get into the nitty gritty of it here. Before I let you go, I want to pick your brain a little bit on some college basketball and a little bit of NBA too. The ACC in particular, it feels like they're a lot stronger this year than last year. And I know you're a Duke fan. I'm a Carolina fan. So like we're sitting there just kind of circling the wagons until we see each other. Right. Caleb Wilson, Cam Boozer. Who do you think should go number 1 overall in the NBA draft? Because right now I got it between those two. Like it's those. Now put your Duke hat away for just a second. Just based on what you've seen,
I think
you were NBA GM.
Wilson's explosive, man. Wilson's so explosive, and it might fit the NBA a little better. I don't know. Boozer's more all around, I think, as a player. But I think Wilson's such a great athlete, the way he gets up and get down the floor. I don't think you can go bad either way. Duke's playing right now against Louisville. Yeah. Who is another really good team. But those two are definitely probably the top two.
It's a lot different than last year when only 4 ACC teams got into the tournament, which is blasphemy here on Tobacco Road. Like for something like that to happen, and Carolina was like the 65th team that got in, or the 68th team, or whatever, and had to do play in and all that stuff. Yeah. It's just beneath all of us. Yeah. So like, I'm glad that it feels like it's kind of getting restored. Although again, shout out to Boopy Miller. I think he's still scoring on Carolina from that game on Saturday, where he was breaking ankles like every other time down the court. SMU is 13-2 or something like that. I think Stanford is 12-2 or something right now. So
California's good.
Cal's only lost 1 or 2 games. I think the only two teams that are under 500 overall in the ACC are Florida State and Pitt. Like right now, everybody else is above 500, which is different from the past couple of years. You don't have to deal with this as much in high school, although it is starting to creep into it in terms of transfers, in and out, that kind of thing. And I'm watching college football, and I had David Glenn on the Desmond Johnson show earlier today live, and the North Carolina Sports Network is probably one of the best at keeping track of the transfer portal. And I asked him, I was like, you're my guy when I need to find this out. How many people are in the transfer portal right now in college football? And he said, probably counting all different levels and everything else, about 8,000. So I was like, 8,000 kids?
The number is unbelievable.
What do you think they need to do? Because it's not just college football. It's affected college basketball for me, too, because, as an ACC fan, growing up, there was nothing better than those Jefferson Pilot quadruple headers on Saturday where you got to see all 8 ACC teams, and every ACC team had somebody like, Kenny Anderson and Georgia Tech taking on J.R. Reed and Carolina, and then Christian Laettner and Duke taking on whoever and Maryland. Like everybody had a dude on their team pretty much.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Now it's like at the beginning of this year, I was like, as a Carolina fan, I'm a little nervous because this is the first year I can think of where I don't know the team. I have no idea who some of these kids are. And as a Duke fan, you're kind of used to this because you guys flip the roster out pretty much every year. So you've had a 4 or 5 year roadway to kind of get accustomed to the new.
That's right.
Is it starting to creep into high school sports as well in terms of like being in Forsyth County? I've always told folks it's a little different here in Forsyth. It's a little bit more wide open than Guilford or Mecklenburg County or the Triangle. You can pretty much go where you want to go if you got transportation to get there. You can pretty much get there.
Yeah.
How is it in Forsyth County for you as a head coach when you look at the landscape and not only look at players that you might want to attract to your school, but making sure you keep the players you have at your school, not transferring out someplace else? I'm sure you've had to deal with both situations since you became head coach.
Yeah, I mean, we got 4 new kids this year in to East who are all on varsity, and I had no idea that any of them were even coming. Next thing I know, hey, who's this guy? He's a new kid. He's he choiced in, or a couple of kids have moved over to our school. So a lot of times you don't know, and a lot of times you think you got everybody coming back. Next thing you know, well, so and so went somewhere. And it is what it is. And I mean, not only that with the portal in college, but now you have the NIL. The NIL for football obviously is affecting us, in basketball and in baseball, because you got football players leaving early in December.
Yeah.
Which, is a big thing, especially here at East. We have a lot of good football players who are moving on to college, and we got some moving on in December, who would have played basketball for us this year.
Your best player last year, Jair Richburg, probably would still be here, but got scooped up, and he actually State had him on the sideline for their bowl game, so he left early.
Right.
So he wasn't going to be here. A few others, same types of situations where you thought you might have him, and actually you didn't, because I spoke to you like in September, October, I think, walking into a football game, and I was like, "How's the team looking? How's such and such?" He was like, "I'm not going to have them." They're leaving early. Like I was like, "Oh man, I didn't even realize it." So like you knew kind of early, and I had a chance to kind of prepare for it. But
it is what it is. It's where we're at right now in high school sports and college sports, and you just you take who you have and you do the best you can with them and move on. I wish Jai all the luck in the world.
Great kid, great family, and he definitely deserves all the stuff that's going to come with it with him. And I hope he follows the same path as a previous wide receiver at East, Quayshawn Brown, where Q could have transferred out of Duke 3 years ago. Like, there was a coaching change. The guy that coached him, that recruited him, got let go. Manny Diaz comes in, and he could have went someplace else, just like everybody else in the world. They're all just bouncing around. He stayed, and he's been there for 3 years, and then breaks out the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and now he's set up to have a great senior season next year. And I think Jair is built in that same mode. So a lot of the kids at East, I don't see them bouncing around a whole lot, especially for the past 4 years or so. The kids have been here the past 4+ years. Now, something like Bryce Baker, that's a different situation. And you coach, or been around him and had coached with him as well. I understand why he transferred out of Carolina, and I understand wherever he lands will be a good spot for him. And shout out to Bryce and his family. Yeah. But most of those kids, it felt like they stayed in a spot, they learned, they got better, and then they transferred to a better situation. Jalen Rayner, who's here, he was at Arkansas State playing football and stayed for 3 years, became all conference, and now he's going to be in the Big 12 plan because he moved up and is going to Iowa State. That's different than just bouncing around for an easier path to play. And I feel like East Forsyth kind of teaches that, whether it's football, basketball, Drew and the baseball team, the girls, all of them, where you got to kind of work to get it. You're not going to get handed anything over here. And I think the kids understand that when they first come in. Do you catch that vibe with the group that you have, that they understand they got to work to get that success? Yeah,
absolutely. And talk about football, Coach Willard does such a great job with our football program. And I know those kids call back to him and ask for advice, and I think what they learned under him has helped them in college to be loyal, to stay with it, to get better. And now you got a situation with Rayner, and it's a great situation for him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know he's still in contact with Coach Willard. So I think it all starts in high school, and I think our basketball program's gotten to the point where our kids play really hard for us. They're loyal to us. We're loyal to them. And I think that starts to show on the court also.
I'm gonna try. I've been trying for the past 2 years. I'm gonna let you go because I know you want to watch this Duke game. I'm gonna try to get my pops out there. My dad was all state for East Forsyth back in the late '70s. His name's Sherman Johnson. He played center for East. He played in the East West All-Star game with Sleepy Floyd, and he signed with High Point and played a couple years there. But he hasn't really set foot on campus since he graduated, and he's lived in Kernersville for the past like 40 years. And I'm like, I do the basketball games. Like, come sit with me over the table. Jennifer's doing the scoreboard. Like, come over here. I'm trying to get him on the microphone and actually talk, but he's kind of the silent giant type. So I don't know if I can get him to come in or not. But he went to school with Tim White. So like Tim asked me all the time about how's he doing everything. So I'm gonna try to get Sherman out there to watch some of these games. You don't have a home game for me to bring him to until the 13th of January, and that's RJ Reynolds. When I think we'll be in the house for that on the East Forsyth Sports Network. If you guys don't know, you can actually access this on the East Forsyth NFHS feed, the video feed for East Forsyth. Our audio is synchronated underneath it, so you can watch that and listen to the call at the same time. If not, you can just hear the call on TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com, and we're with them through the majority of the season. That'll go through middle of February, and then we'll get to the CPC tournament. Who's hosting the conference tournament this year?
I believe it's at West. I might be wrong on that, but for some reason, someone asked me the other day, and I thought I heard it was West, but not 100% positive about that.
Okay, I'll have to check with Pennington and find out what's going on with that, because we usually do the semifinals and the finals of that too. So we'll get into that, but I'm gonna let you go. We'll probably be after we get out of this week. I'd imagine our next show will probably be sometime after the 19th, probably. Well, no, maybe not. It might be sometime after that Reynolds game. So sometime next week, we'll probably back on, and hopefully we'll get some players on as well. I joked to my wife that Dominic Chaboy might be the smartest 18-year-old kid I've ever had a conversation with in my life. He's like a 40-year-old man, like an 18-year-old's body. He's just eloquent and just talking. The way he handles himself, I love it. And he's always a good interview whenever he's on the nest with Coach Willard. I know Willard brought him on specifically because of that. So
I'll have him on first. He'll be my first player.
Let Dom come on, the captain. Let him come on board. Yes. And he's your leading scorer, isn't he?
Yes.
Leading scorer? Yeah, so he's playing really well. I noticed he was wearing a
he's averaging 16 and 12 right now for us.
Wow. Yeah, good for him. And he's on the way to Cornell, of course. He's on the way to Cornell to play football.
We didn't have him for 2 games too, because he was at the East-West All-Star game. So
that's right. Yeah, over at Grimsley. So I was hoping he wasn't hurt or something, because I saw he was wearing a thing on his hand. I know he broke his hand last year, I think it was.
It was this summer playing basketball.
That's what it was. Yeah, because when we got
don't remind Coach Willard that, please.
Yeah, because I remember I came to me and Mark Pruitt came to a practice like in July, and he was sitting on the sideline with a thing. I was like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "I broke my hand playing basketball." And I was like, "What?" And we're just stormed by. He's like, "I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it." I was like, "All right."
That's right. I don't either.
So I'm hoping that you guys have kind of figured out the rotation you want to do going in. Again, I really like that starting rotation he came out with in the second half with West. And I think that if Dom wasn't in foul trouble, I think you could have really – I think that might be – because then it made it where you had like Joe Allen coming off the bench. Want was playing really well coming off the bench. Brody Franco comes in and gives you some minutes. Zamir Harris played well in that and gave you some minutes. And I think people were kind of settling into their roles. Was Lucas Costello, was he sick or was he out?
Lucas was out with the flu. So we didn't have him. And to be honest with you, Joseph Allen was sick also.
Okay. I don't doubt it. I had it, man.
We didn't know how sick he was until the fourth quarter. And before the game, it was like, "Coach, I'm freezing. It's freezing in here." I'm like, "Man,
oh my God." He had what I had. I had it like 2 weeks ago. It's like cold chills, fever, lethargic, like you just can't get off the couch. And it hit me so hard. I literally sat on my couch Saturday and Sunday a couple weekends ago and like curled up beside my wife, like pitiful. And I'm never like that. And then it kind of went away, but I noticed everyone's getting it. Like, it's so contagious. Like, it's just all over the place. And I'm seriously thinking about pulling my mask back out. Like, I never got sick when I was wearing the mask, and now I'm kind of like, I might have to do it. Oh, and shout out to Alan Plaster, Z3O, watching us.
There he is.
There he is, the AD, over at East Forsyth, the man that helps put this all together. I talked to him a little bit earlier today too about this, so I know they were excited about us getting this started. We'll continue to do this throughout the season, spotlight some of the players. And actually, what was the name of the women's head coach again? The new girl that we just hired? Asia. I want to get her on too, because the girls seem like they're playing pretty well.
They are.
The past couple of times I've seen them, it feels like she's really kind of getting a rotation together. And I want to spotlight some of the girls on this as well throughout the season while we can through January and February. So any shout outs or anything you want to give before we get you out here tonight?
Just shout out to my players, my assistants, and everyone who's connected with our team, and just looking to get on a run here after Christmas and see what we can do. Real excited.
Next show should be either Monday or Wednesday of next week, because the Eagles will be playing RJ Reynolds next Tuesday on the road. So we might wait till after the Reynolds game. So we have that to talk about. And, of course, Reynolds has a strong basketball tradition too. So it's on. The CPC is never easy, regardless of the sport. So it's a gauntlet, regardless of what sport you're playing in. So, Coach, appreciate the time tonight. Again, the Nest with East Forsyth basketball, the basketball season is sponsored by Game On Brew Pub over in Kernersville. Joe Campbell and the guys over there, they do a great job. Great drink specials, great food specials, arcade games all over the place, and a bunch of television so you can watch all the sports that you want to watch, especially this weekend with everything going on. That might be the spot to go hit up. So go check out Joe Campbell and friends over at Game On Sports, Game On Brew Pub, 727 East Mountain Street in Kernersville. Speaking of double, Drew Allen, the baseball coach, we're trying to put this together for them as well. Better shout out your wife, Joe, before we get out of here.
I was about to do that, Drew. Thank you. Shout out to my wife for all the late nights, coming to all the games, and putting up with me during games, and giving me that evil look when I'm getting a little loud and out of control.
We all know that look. We all know that look. So, all right, I'm gonna get you out of here so you can watch the second half of that Duke Louisville game. Do you know what the score? Are you keeping up with it or anything? Or
no, I had it on my phone, but I didn't want to make any noise in the background.
Mikael Brown's out tonight. He's been out for like 4 games, so Duke should be okay, I think. But Louisville, they're going 2-2 since he's been out, so we'll see how they are. But we're gonna get you out of here. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Nest with East Forsyth basketball. This is Desmond Johnson, Joe Coulter, head coach of East Forsyth men's basketball. We will see you guys next week.